Okay, this is the Adams Cemetery, and it is literally in the middle of nowhere. The instructions to get here literally include turn off the paved road, and it is about maybe a quarter of a mile up into the woods. I swear I hear banjos. But this is the cemetery, and according to the listing, it hasn't been used since the 20s, I guess. I'll have to check that. But let's poke around and see what we find. It is in this clearing in the woods that hasn't been mowed in forever, but looks like mostly marked graves. Julia, daughter of William M. and Sarah Tanner, 1869 to 1877. What a nice stone. A footstone and a partially fallen child stone right next to another one that is missing. Here's a fallen stone over here. Oh no, it's just a rock, but it is a rock marking a grave. There are several of those around, and the rocks marking graves like this, are really indicative of people who just couldn't afford the carved stones. Here's a more modern stone marking an earlier grave with a matching footstone, Mr. Youngblood. And then there is just a marble here that I would bet was a standing stone that's been broken off and missing. There are some flowers over here, so let's go check that out. I don't know if there's an actual grave. Yes, there is. And these are all fairly recent flowers, because this is a fairly recent grave. Charles Watts, 1997. I'm going to stand the flag up because it should always be standing. Get in the dirt there. Alright, let's just stick it in here. Alright. So this cemetery actually does have some more recent usage to it. There's a stone here and a stone here, marking a grave that would be there. And you can see, well, if you were here, you could see there's a depression in the ground. I've discovered that these do not exactly film very well. Snapped off stone for Clifton E., son of J.A. Hand. And both halves of the stone are still here. 1925. Knocked over stone for Mr. Henry Burns has a nice dove and at rest carving. 1923. This stone is knocked over. Also Mr. Hand, James Hand. There are several unmarked graves through here. I can tell from the depression. Here is footstone, one headstone, so I'm going to presume is a headstone marking two graves. I'm going to be, yep. Patsy Weil and J.P. Weil. He has a birth date, 1860, but no death date, while Patsy has a death date and no birth date. But 1860, you can bet he has gone on to his great reward in his footstone over there. Here's a stone that is so badly worn you cannot read it. I would have to do a rubbing for that one. Let's see what's on back here. Here are several more modern stones. 1966, 1985, and this has a rudimentary enclosure to it. So, you know, the graves are right there. Here is one that is ceramic tile outlining it. And then some concrete and brick over there. Let's go around and see what we see. Judging from the flag, it's probably a soldier. Gotta cover this. James, Alabama, PFC, World War II. James E. Cox. Joseph Smith. And F-R-O-N-I, Franny Cox. There's a name you don't see. Franny Cox Smith. And then another Mr. Cox. Over here, this is a cemetery that obviously people come out to because these flowers and decorations are not old. You know, they're within the last year. Here is a child's grave and an ant bed I just stepped on. One of the hazards of stomping around an old cemetery. Our beloved mother passed away in 1997, Miss Donnie Dooley. There are a couple of unmarked graves right here headed towards this one, which is a 2014 grave. U.S. Air Force, so probably Korean war vet. Thank you, sir, for your service. All right, let's go and check out some of these older stones over here. Lots of these stones are almost buried in the vegetation, so you can't hardly see them anymore. Thomas, 1928. Here is an outline, very small grave, so it'd probably be an infant, but there is no actual marker. So this would be a rudimentary cradle grave. Then there is a outline grave over here, also with no marker. A stone probably marking a grave with no name, but stone going with this one. There's an unmarked grave right there that is partially collapsed, and I'm going to kind of go around it. Some interesting mushrooms. They're not the magic mushrooms. I don't know what those are. Never seen those before. I am not going to eat them. I do not particularly want to die. All right, here are 3 graves that have 3 little stones that are nice stones, but they are not carved. So there's 3 graves, and I have no idea. But people know that they're there because there are flowers. Lots of pecans on the ground. Richard A. and infant death. Infant daughter of W.A. and Cora Taylor. Born and died the same day. Dovey Waddle and a lizard. 1889. Then stones. Another one over here. This one looks interesting. Number one, we've got this type of like early 20th century stone, which is kind of the tablet version. Then I've got this, which is somebody took great care to build a brick marker, but unfortunately there is no name plaque of any kind. So that is interesting. I've never seen one of those before. Here is one that at one time had the little iron numbered routine on it, but that is all rusted away. So whoever has the records for this cemetery might know who that is. And I need to do research to figure that out. There's a busted stone over here. Not so busted stone. Zoom tight, thank you. Broken and missing stone. Several little just standing rocks, and this is so small it's got to be an infant grave. So that is the Adams Family Cemetery. Thank y'all for watching. Always, as requested, please click the subscribe button, because going out here and doing this kind of thing, I do like to know that people actually are interested. Please comment below. Go to the Patreon and sign up for that if you could. And thank you very much, and we'll see what else we come up with.